That's the call you out. It's stuck in my head.
Oh man.
Do you know it?
I actually don't know how to dance it, bro. I've always been a terrible dancer, bro.
Same.
I think it's cause like I was like the shy kid.
Right.
And I never wanted to dance with the girls, even though sometimes the girls would just kind of be like, hey, you know, I'm waiting here.
Right.
And then I'd just be like, I'd sink into my shell.
Yeah.
But, you know, isn't it interesting how that works? How, like, you're kind of like a shy person, and then, like, life kind of pushes you in a direction where it gets you out of your shell eventually.
Yeah, I know exactly what that's like, man.
For me, it was like this one time, I was 19 years old, and I was working for Unite here, you know, doing the whole organizing thing. And there was this cool-ass white chick, you know, she was, like, super smart. She went to the consortium of what are those preppy schools? The Clarendon. Do you know what? Like Claremont schools?
Oh, the Claremont colleges.
Yeah, have you heard of those schools?
Yeah, Harvey Mudd, Pitzer, Claremont McKenna, Pomona College.
Yep, she went to Pitzer. Right, so those are tough schools, like tough, like intellectual environments.
Right.
And you know, we kind of like liked each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this one time, bro, like we're just hanging out on this like rosy field over there by USC.
Right.
And she's just like, dude, why don't you just go for it? You know, kind of like telling me like, why don't I just like grab her and kiss her or something, right? And then in my head, I was like, damn, you're telling me that's how easy it is?
Right.
You know, I'm not telling you boys over here to just go out here groping girls and touching them, but you know what I'm saying? There has to be some sort of connection.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like if you feel like a real genuine connection with somebody and you're cool and you like them and they like you back, then, you know, I think that's kind of like the green light to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to liking somebody, man, like one point of advice is like, if you want to, and this is just my opinion, like you can do whatever you want, but if you want to do it right, like you got to have something in common with that person besides like, you know, like, oh, we're in the same class. Like, okay, that's cool, you're in the same class, but what do y'all actually have in common? So, you know, with this chick, I'm sure you guys already like, you know, you guys had something in common, and then she was into you, she was telling you how to make a move, but I think there's also the wrong ways to go about getting at chicks, dude, but like,
yeah, what would be like a bad way or a wrong way to get at somebody?
Like being a skeezer, you know, just like trying to just get at a chick because everyone else thinks she's hot or something. Like, I don't think that's not right, you know? Cause oh, she's hot, bro. Like, all right, let me try to make a move on her. And you don't even know her, you know? Like, I feel like, bro, like when you get at a girl, you gotta have something in common with them. You gotta have a reason to go up to them. Like I remember, like in college, bro, this used to happen a lot to like some of my female friends. It even happened to my wife, who's my girlfriend at the time. Like fools would just go up to her, bro, that, like didn't even know her. You know, be like, you're hot, you're cute, and it's just like, okay, like that's a nice thing to say, but you don't even know this person, bro. You know, like, can I get your number? Like, bro, you don't know them. Like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, so like you're talking about like the lack of substance.
Yeah, like
right?
Like a better way, right? So I think a better way would be like, hey, like you're in my psychology class. Did you understand point X about this topic? Then suddenly you're not a dumbass, dude. Like suddenly you're like somebody who's intellectually engaging, and yeah, like you think she's hot, you think she's cute, but that's not the first thing you say, bro.
Right.
Like, come on now.
You're talking about like building the right angle, right, to get into someone's mindset, right? Instead of just kind of like the physical is obvious, you know what I'm saying? Like she or he's gonna look at you and right away they're gonna think hot or not.
Right.
But the way you're gonna be able to crack that shell, that exterior shell, is gonna be by being like, hey, triggering the mind, triggering the emotions, whatever it may be.
I would even say, man, like, well, first of all, intelligence is hot, bro. And I know this might sound corny or whatever, but it is. Chicks, especially if you're going for like, you know, someone who's like kind of like us, you know, like easygoing, into cultural diversity, into Latino culture, maybe Mexican culture, they appreciate intelligence. They appreciate somebody who can like not only like rock the J's, rock like the Louis Cons, but like can also spit some real knowledge about something. Why? Because most fools aren't doing that. You know? So that suddenly you're not just the homie who just like, you know, does what everyone else does, but you're doing something different. I've literally asked my wife that, and women who are similar to my wife, but you know, like come from like traditional Mexican homes, like immigrant parents, but at the same time got educated. And she said like, I was like, what was different about me? Because I'm like, damn, like I look back at you in college and like guys were after you like hounds. Like I was like, what was different about me? She told me like you were smart, you were into school, you weren't just presenting like the same old like, I'm gonna take you to this bar and I'm gonna do all these, you know, and that was my angle. So being intelligent, like you said, the intellectual, right? But then the next level is, how do you get to the emotions? And the emotions, here's a secret. Take out your pens and pencils, or your notepad and pencils. Get to know their values, bro. Get to know their values. If you get to know a person who's a potential significant other's values, then you win them over immediately. And I knew that with my girl at the time, was now my wife. I knew she valued education a lot. So I made up this whole story, bro, about how I had a mentoring group. Like I was like, yo, like me and my boy, we mentor college freshmen, and we help them in subjects they're struggling with. And we have a meeting tomorrow, like at 6 p.m. in the library. She was like, bet, like, okay, I want to go. And it was a total lie. I didn't have a group. I just wanted to meet up with her,
bro.
I did lie to her.
Okay.
I did lie to her.
Well, I mean, there's a clear difference between a white lie and then just a straight up like evil.
Yeah. No, I mean, I wasn't gonna like secretly try to kiss her and any crazy stuff like that. It was
right.
I just wanted to be around her. I essentially tricked her to like hang out with me, but it was at the library, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like at somebody's house, like with a bottle of tequila and like a condom on the side. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Like
it wasn't
completely descarado. Like,
yeah, nah. It was like totally. I would say like
scumbagged out.
Yeah, no. It was totally like innocent. Like, you know, like I just want to I just want to be around her.
I just want to smell your aroma.
I just wanted a chance, bro.
Yeah.
Because she was so busy all the time. She would always just like jam out of class, and I was like, dude, if the semester ends, I might never see her again. You know how well you went to a small college, huh?
I went to a small college. I meant that everyone that I kicked it with, or I did anything remotely, you know, whatever, everybody knew.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like you went out to a party, everybody knew you got hammered. Everybody knew that you failed the class. Everybody knew that you got benched. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was a very like intimate school because it was just so small. It was like another high school, but even smaller than my high school. Okay. My high school, HP, there was like 4,000 students.
Yeah, that's a big student population.
More or less. My university, there was like 1,000 students.
Dang. Yeah. Okay, so Cal State Northridge, which is the school that I graduated from, is like the opposite. So it's a commuter school. So it means that most students don't live on campus, but there are people who live on campus. I lived on campus for a few years, but there's the student population at the time was 36,000. So like the possibility of seeing her again was very slim. You know what I'm saying? So I had to make a move, and that was my move. So my point is that like, see, that was an intellectual move. It wasn't like, hey, like you want to go get micheladas on Friday, like. Okay, like I'm sure like half the foods here are already doing that, and so like that's not cool, that's not special. I mean, yeah, micheladas are bomb, but like I had to approach her with something different. Yeah. So I hit her with like this mentorship group, like education, you know, like she cared. It was evident that she cared about her grades, and now we're married, bro.
You had to set yourself apart from all the other potential mates. Yeah. Right? And that's kind of like what society is like. Everyone is basically, you know, wanting to mate and also create relationships with them. Right. Because that's either what we're socialized to do or what we're driven to do biologically. Right. So if your girl is fine as hell, or the girl that you want is fine as hell, that means that there's hundreds of potential mates. And I say that because they're all going to be getting at them. They're all going to be getting at them, and there's going to be one dude that's going to be bound to catch your eye in many different ways. Right. So you have to be the one that sets yourself apart from the rest of the game and be like, I'm different, and you should be with me.
Yeah.
because of these other reasons.
Right.
Right. And then also, like, once you do get them, this one time, one of my best homies, Diego Magoza, another person on the podcast that I've had in the past. Well, you should definitely meet one day. He told me, if you don't give your girl what she wants, she's gonna find someone who will.
Yeah.
And then I was like, damn, like that's one of those hard realities that you just don't want to really admit to yourself.
Yeah.
But it's totally a real thing.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I like that you bring that up, bro. And shout out to Diego Melgoza for saying that, because that's something that I realized, bro, is that as men, especially if you come from a family or maybe a culture that claims to value women, right, but does so in a way where like women tend to be in a submissive role oftentimes, you forget that like a lot of the interactions between a man and a woman, between a mujer and hombre, are very ego driven, right? So to that example, right, if you don't give your girl or your wife, your woman, whatever, what she wants, she'll find someone else. I feel like oftentimes as men, we use our ego to justify, like, nah, man, I'm dope. Like, I got a job. Like, I know how to dress, right? I know how to, like, comb my hair, right? And I'm relatively good looking. Or we tell ourselves these things, and then she'll never leave me, right? She'll never leave me. Me? Why would she leave me, right? We tell ourselves these bullshit-ass lies, right? And nah, homie, she will leave you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're abusive or disrespectful, or your values aren't aligned to what she wants. So for me, you know, because that's something that I dealt with, right? Like, I used to think that because I was intelligent, like book smart, and because my mom is beautiful and she made me relatively, good looking, relatively, I'm not trying to be like egotistical or anything. I used to think like, why would anyone leave me? But that's wrong. No one is above the burden of being left. You know what I'm saying? No one is above that. And that's a big lesson that I think takes a lot of like reflection, humbling yourself and checking your ego. Like, you're not that special, you know? Mm-hmm. No one is that special to do whatever they want, to do as they please, to go around, right? And just being reckless and then still have your girl. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a lesson that I've seen, bro, just in a lot of people around in our society, like, they get left. They lose amazing people in their lives because they refuse to check their ego, bro.
For sure. And I think it's really easy for us to think that way because we compare ourselves to hyper shitty men. Like the super. This is what complicates
dislikes
my
are
life.
Coming, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm just like, this dude right here is a total piece of crap. Right. You know, super misogynistic.
Right.
Doesn't let his girl out. Doesn't let his wife out. Like, you can't dress a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to cook by the time you're home.
Take off my boots.
Yeah, these type of gentlemen, right? Well, I shouldn't say gentlemen.
I like
these type of dudes, and the women decide to stay for years and years and years, and I'm just like, we make an error in comparing ourselves to these people because then no matter what, we're always better, right? But then again, like the younger women, bro, they're not even looking at these men as like the I guess the expectation, right. And what ends up happening is that you end up playing yourself, right? Because like, well, I'm not like my dad, dude. Your dad is not the standard anymore. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole nother standard out here. Yeah. And if you're not meeting that standard or exceeding that standard, then you're pretty much giving yourself away.
Yeah, man. I agree, bro. Like I like for me, dog, it's like I always tell everyone this, my students, my family, my friends, like, why would you compare yourself to a lower standard? Like, why would you say like, oh well, I don't curse my girl out. I'm emotionally abusive, but I don't curse her out. Therefore, I'm better than this guy. It's like, bro, you just compared yourself to a shittier person. So that means that your standard is shitty, and therefore your actions will be shitty, and everything that follows thereafter. So for me, developing those healthy habits of like non-verbal or non-abusive verbal communication, even like touch, bro. Like I noticed like a lot of young dudes who maybe we're never taught, or we're taught to be real aggressive. Like they'll just like I mean, I don't know, man. Just like aggressively, like grab like their girl, but in a way that's like not welcomed. But the girl just kind of like
let's say like a girl's walking away and then you grab a wrist.
Yeah, like boom, and then just like I'm gonna show you who's strong. Well, naturally you're stronger, bro.
Yeah, like no shit,
you're 6'1", like 200. She's freaking 5'2", like 110, bro. You should be stronger than her.
Right.
So you're not proving anything by manhandling,
by muscling your way.
Yeah, and I'm not talking in a sexual way. I'm talking literally in like a normal interaction. Like we're out and about, or like I'll see like come here, like you know. I'm just damn, bro. Like what are you doing? Like like you're being a douchebag.
Right. You're trying to intimidate her into something that you know she probably doesn't want to do.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like I think like I've learned. I'm not saying that I've done that, you know, because thankfully I don't have those tendencies. But I've learned to be like to gently caress, you know, my girl, and obviously get to know your partner. I mean, everyone likes different things, but abuse, whether it's physical, verbal, emotional, is never a necessity. Like no one needs that.
Right.
Even if that's what you grew up seeing, like that doesn't mean that's what your girl needs.
Straight up.
Or even wants. And even if she accepts it, doesn't mean like she might not even understand that it's wrong, bro. Right. And that breaks my heart, bro. When the girl's like, yeah, he hits me a little bit, or he cusses me out, or this and that, but you know, like it's cool, like I provoke him. Like, nah, man, like
Right.
I don't know.
But if you find yourself, you know what I'm saying, like the point of this conversation is not to just shit on people, you know? I want to be able to give you a tool that you can use right now. If you find yourself being this guy or that girl,
or wanting to dislike this video because your feelings are getting hurt, pay attention to that.
Like if you feel like you're any of those people, right? Hit up the Southern California Counseling Center. At this center, well, you have to be in LA, right? Otherwise, I don't know, you gotta find another tool. At this place, there's a program called the TAP program, TAPP. In this program, they're gonna tell you, they're gonna teach you, they're gonna express to you, you're gonna share tools that you can utilize to become less abusive in your partnerships with women, with men, non-binary people, whatever. And also, for those of you that have pets, sometimes we're in abusive relationships with our pets, right?
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people that beat animals, you know?
Yeah,
so, guys, again, TAP program, Southern California Counseling Center.
Yeah.
Call them up. Tell them that you abuse your wife. You've hit them. You hit your kids. You scream at them. All these different things that kind of fall into that paradigm of abuse. Hit them up. They'll be more than happy to assist you. $20 per session. It took me about 12 weeks of going to kind of get some real good tools. And don't get me wrong, I'm still abusive to some degree. But I'm working through these things, right? And it's really allowed me to be better in my partnership with my own girl. And, it's all part of life, man, and part of growing. And this is why we're here in this beautiful journey that we call life.
Yes.
Earlier today, we were hanging out, and we went to Vector 90.
Vector 90, yep.
What does it mean to you?
You know what? So for those of you who don't know, Vector 90 is a co-working space with an open floor plan, right, where professionals, creatives, etc. go and they just work. You know, they collaborate, they have networking events, but it's a beautiful space. The architecture is immaculate. Aesthetically, it is very appealing. It's very like new age techy. But for me, what it means is that, like, first of all, it's in the hood, right? In the hood. It's in South Central, right? It's like 6111 South Gramercy Place, right?
Yep.
I memorized the address. I don't know why.
That's crazy.
We were just there, but
in a sense, it makes sense.
Yeah. So we were just there, but for me, it means several things. But their motto, I go back to their motto, which is "Too big to fail," right? Which builds on this idea that the inner city has too much talent, right? That's being underutilized, right? And so it means everything to me. So there's a entrepreneur, David Gross, I believe is his name, and Nipsey Hussle, and they came together and they created this space. and they're serving a heavily under-resourced community. And that, to me, bro, that takes courage, that takes tenacity, that takes belief, that takes hope, right? Hope in the forgotten, like we talk about, right? So to me, it means everything. A space like that, we need more spaces like that. We were just talking about, like, what if we started what, like Vector 91 or Vector Eastside Vector, you know, like
Vector 100.
Vector 100, you know, it means everything, because, you know, poor kids in the hood, you know, they have potential too, equal potential as anyone on the planet, right? But unfortunately, because of different social factors, they don't get that chance. They don't get to get on the field. They don't even get to be in the stadium.
Right.
You know, so for me, that's a little mini stadium where, like, you can come here, you can play. Obviously, I mean, you gotta pay and all this other stuff, but I think what they're doing overall, that's the move, Chief.
Right.
That's the move.
Right. And I mean, it's all about extending equal opportunity, right? Because we got the talent,
Right.
and we got the people.
Right.
Now we just need the equal opportunity
Yeah.
to become a lawyer, to become a doctor, to become a business person, to do all these different things.
Right.
Right? And we can do that by creating that space.
Yeah.
Somewhere local.
Yeah.
Right? So that people can feel like they do have that opportunity, right? Because you can be
Yeah.
like, well, this is the U.S. and this is the land of the free and you can do whatever you want. I mean, that's highly debatable.
Yeah. I
You
agree.
know? So, I mean, where I'm coming from is like, why just be upset at it all? You know, when you could just be like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it and let's get it.
Yeah, man, I agree, bro. And that's another thing, like, you know, I just got back from vacation in Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico, and it was my first time traveling to Mexico or Mexico. And, you know, like, I think there's also, I'm personally, this is for me, you can do whatever you want, but I'm also careful to not like complain so much, because damn, bro, like I just can't compare like the resources of Mexico to America, or in my home country to America. And all politics aside, bro, like because obviously there's a lot that can be said, you know.
Yeah.
There's too much that's already being said, but just on a very basic level, like I'll take like a hardworking family than just like the perfect place on the map any day. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if your family taught you certain values, even if you guys were like growing up in a rural village and the outskirts of Guadalajara, or if you were growing up like in Huntington Park, or South Central, I don't know, or like some place in Paris, France, and you're like an immigrant from Africa or something. But if your family, or if you're some poor white kid from West Virginia, if your family, bro, like taught you how to hustle and taught you to be kind and respect people and don't be a jerk and like just instill some good values in you, man, I think the sky's the limit, bro. Like I do believe that like certain values you just can't replicate, you know. Like I can't teach you what your mom taught you growing up, or what your dad taught you, or whatever, or whomever, your uncle, whoever raised you. I can't bottle that up. I can mentor it, I can coach it, but coaching, bro, will never be the same as like living it. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, going back to Vector 90, like the efforts need to be like full wraparound, bro. Like if I get this young creative, say I get a young creative from Watts, right? We work with amazing kids in Watts, right? And say I get a young creative from Watts, say the kid's an artist, they can draw their ass off, but the kid has like seen people die and they got crazy trauma and mental health issues. If I bring him under my wing, I need to give this full counseling. I need to be like, hey bro, like you're gonna work with me and I'm gonna connect you to my homie who's a big artist in Hollywood, but like from point A to Hollywood, there's gonna be like other mini points in between, meaning that like I'm gonna teach you how to dress, I'm gonna teach you how to talk to certain people, I'm gonna teach you how to I'm gonna teach you about counseling, because you tend to pop off randomly, and this guy over here doesn't play like you play over here, and we're trying to bridge that gap, which is gonna allow you to improve your life, improve the life of your family, and ultimately become better. So I think a lot of those values, bro, like are universal. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like not trying to get into no like political debate or anything about what country's better, what country's shitty, because I hate those conversations. They just stress me out. More about like values, bro. Like what values are you teaching your family members? What values are you teaching your homies, your students? You know? I don't know.
No, I mean that makes a lot of sense to me, because what is instilled when it comes down to values, those are usually things that you yourself really value about yourself. So whether you're in a middle class neighborhood, a upper class neighborhood, or a lower class neighborhood, you're always gonna be respectful. You're always gonna be loving. You're always gonna be empathetic. There's all these different values, right, that exist in society, and we are taught either by, you know, religious institutions, schooling institutions, you know, family institutions. There's all these different like forms of institutions that are constantly teaching us their best methods of learning, of sharing, of coexisting. And at the end of the day, I don't think that there is a particular value that's better than another. You just have to find what works for you. And if the values that were instilled into you by your parents, your family, your friends, or school, if they don't seem to be making you happy, then go find another value, right? Go find another group of people. Share with them. If they're not for you, keep moving forward. I think some of the issues is that some people are so scared of the world that they're not willing to try new things. They're not willing to try new circles. They're not willing to explore outside the boundaries that make them comfortable. Right? And again, that goes back to the idea of like fear. And I'd rather live a short life where I'm
one day as a lion.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather live a short life with no fear than live a long ass life full of fear.
Well, living in fear, dude, is not living. First of all, because fear often goes hand in hand with anxiety, right? Fear of the unknown will likely cause you anxiety, whatever it is, right? Anxiety of this new job, anxiety of this, whatever it is. So if you're living through fear and anxiety, you're essentially living through stress. And if you're living through stress, what do we know is that stress causes you to make stupid decisions. So you're living a stupid life. That's a lot of people don't understand. And I think that's why I value education so much. That's why I named my whole movement Scholar First, bro. I will always be a scholar first till the day I die. Like, I will be a scholar. You best believe that, like, whatever I'm doing, I've read up on it. I don't have a PhD. I don't have a master's. I have a bachelor's degree and a credential. But I've read on it because it sounds stupid and corny, man, but knowledge is power. Like, knowledge is power, you know? And when you learn to stop living in fear and walk in your truth, then you have nothing to really apologize for, especially if you're not hurting anyone, because you're doing the right thing for you. You know what I'm saying? I think the problem becomes when the right thing for you becomes a harmful thing for another person. And that's what I think, that's what I call, well, that's what a psychologist might call cognitive dissonance, or someone in general might call like a moral corruption. You know what I'm saying? When like I'm doing things consciously or subconsciously that are benefiting me, but I'm hurting you. You know, whether it's like an abusive marriage, or like, you know, I'm stealing from my workers. You know, say I got a company and like oh, just work an extra hour for free. You know, like, I don't know, little ways of like taking advantage of people. I think that's when I think you can really see like where people's like values and morals stand, when their comfort, right, like comes at the expense of like the next person's demise. And I don't think that, not to get in like a kumbaya state, you feel me, but I don't think that life needs to be that way. I think that there can be enough balance to where like everybody eats. You know, like where everybody eats. Obviously everybody's not gonna make the same. I'm not proposing some type of like I don't know. I mean, I think that we can be better, dude. I think we can do better with how we treat each other. You know, how we share what we have. You know, without being reckless. You know,
And you know what? There's a lot of big time, business people today, and podcasters and business and intellectuals that would argue that there is enough pie for everybody, but you do have to kind of go get it yourself.
Wait, so what you're telling me is that I can't just ask for a piece of pie?
Well, you can ask for it all you want. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't mean you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, can we talk about this, man? Because I see it a lot in our community, and by community I mean like, poor people in general. Poor people in general. That means poor people across the world, right? Across LA, the US, Latin America, Europe, whatever. But I see it a lot also in like Latino people, and I'm not saying this is everyone. I'm just saying I see it, and I've seen it in other cultures too, and it troubles me. It really troubles me because it's not one of my values. I think is why it troubles me. And I'm gonna say it, asking for a handout, like asking for something. Like there's something about just like just straight up asking for something that to me, like, unless you absolutely need it, don't get it twisted. Like I was in Mexico literally yesterday and I bought 2 boxes of pizza in the centro downtown. I promise you, this all connects. So because we're gonna take it to my wife's home, and we just open up the box, right? Like 10 slices. We were hungry, so we just start eating. This little girl, like 7, 8 years old, comes up to us, selling us chicles, of course. And we're like, "Nah, we're good, thank you," And then she leaves and comes back, and she's like, "Can I have a slice of pizza?" And I was just like, I've never been asked by any other human being that I didn't know for food, like for my food. And I was like sure, like of course, like why the fuck would I not give you a pizza, right? So I'm not saying that type of like handout. She was hungry, I gave her a pizza. I mean, like, when somebody's just like, "Hey bro, like, you got this new job, right, Chewy? You're a teacher, right? Hey fool, let me get like $200, dog. We're friends, right?" Or like, "Hey Chewy, like you got this nice camera, right? Like, take me to buy one and show me how to do it and teach me everything you know, dog." Do you get where I'm going here?
Yeah, you're kind of talking about the people that expect you to break your back for them without them really doing much for you.
Yeah, like, dude. Like, I don't know, man. Like I really saw this like in college a lot, and I saw it like once I started doing something with my life, started making moves. Like, "Hey bro, can you read this essay?" Like, and at first, I used to just do it like, "Sure man, yeah, I'll give it a look." And then it became like everything, right? Like, "Hey, like, can you show me how to do this? Hey, can you give me this? Hey, do you have that?" And I'm sitting here like, I'm sure I'm not the only person who experiences this, but like, it's like, learn how to ask.
There you go. I think that's super key. Learn how
Let's
to
talk
ask.
about that, dog. Like,
learning how to ask.
How do you ask?
First of all, you have to be very courteous. You know what I'm saying? You have to be very nice. You have to develop the right question. You know what I'm saying? And above all, you have to find and create a plan. For example, let's say you're asking for money. You have to create a plan and say, "I'm gonna pay you back."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to give me something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just expect me to give you $2,000 and not expect for there to be some sort of other thing involved. You know what I'm saying? Where to the point where, like, if I'm gonna give you $2,000, I'm not really giving them to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm expecting that you're gonna do another thing for me. Right. So I feel like when you ask a question or when you ask for a favor, you have to come with something on the plate. Even if you have no money, you better bring something, whether it's yourself, your attitude, your spirit, your happiness, your joy. You gotta be able to feed me somehow. Right. So that's what I think about, asking for stuff.
Yeah, man. I agree with you 100%. For me, I think it's like, my thing is like, this might sound very, very capitalist of me, or very, I don't know, but like I think we live in a quid pro quo society, man. I firmly believe.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
This for that. Like I'm here right now. Like to use us as an example. Obviously this is for your podcast, but it fills my life because you're a very intelligent person and we're homies. You know, we get along, and like I think you have a lot to teach me. And I don't mean this in a narcissistic way, but I strongly believe that you should guard your time. You should guard your money.
Right.
I don't spend too much time with a lot of people. Not because I'm a people hater or because I'm cranky or angry, but if I'm not intellectually engaged, like if you're not giving me an idea, I don't want to hear a story, bro. Don't tell me a story. I don't care about what you did last week with your boys and like, you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, tell me an idea, bro. What did you learn? Get me up here. I don't want to hear about how you got in trouble last week at the store or some bullshit. Like, I don't want to hear it. I've heard that shit my whole life. Tell me something new. So I'm getting something out of this. You know, you're preparing more content, you know, but I'm getting something too. And I think that every interaction, no matter what, is like that, bro. And that's what you call power dynamic. It's a power dynamic. So like me, for example, I'm not going to go up to the principal who I barely know and essentially occupies a relatively higher position in the pecking order of education and just be like, hey, give me a raise. She'd be like, why the fuck would you need a raise, bro?
Right,
like, what have you done? And I think we're making a mistake if we're not teaching our kids, even if you got money, bro, even if you're rich, middle class, but especially if you're poor, if you're teaching your kid to be very entitled. I think millennials, bro, and like even the younger kids are super entitled, like, and I see it in my students like all the time.
Yeah.
Not just in my students, but like just students like you know, younger kids, because I've worked in different schools, so this is not a shot at like
wow.
the school at the school I work at. I've worked in South Central. I've worked even my wife works on the like mid Wilshire, like kind of West Side ish. There's so much entitlement, like give me this, give me that, and there's a certain way in which if you become that person, bro, who's extremely demanding, it's like,
yeah. So you know what I've done to kind of combat some of that? I don't give you anything. I just don't give you anything. That way you don't get the idea that I'm gonna be the giving type. The only thing I do give you is unconditional love.
Right.
And that's just like a basic human tenet.
Yeah.
A human tenet that is not something that humans are entitled to, but humans are deserving of. Especially within the population that we're teaching. Right? Which goes back to my conversation with Dr. Green about being a compassionate human being. To tap into the resiliency and offer someone redemption. So that they can transform their life. Right. But see, the reason why I'm able to give you all the love in the world that I can give you is because it's free. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't gotta give you $5. I don't gotta give you $100. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me for love and I have it, I'm gonna give it to you. If I don't have love that day, I'm not gonna give it to you. You know what I'm saying? But when we start talking about entitlement is when we're talking about money issues, right? When we're talking about all the
time, bro.
Time as well.
Time, like, don't take my time.
That's a big issue, bro. Which is why I'm really grateful that you're willing to share your time with me right now, because I know especially how you are with your time. You know what I'm saying?
Selfish. I'm extremely selfish.
And that's
with my
fine.
time.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
we only got 24 hours.
Can I just make an announcement?
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right, man. This is to all my family, friends, and subscribers. Like, if I don't go to your event, it's not because I don't care about you. Or if you invite me to something and I kindly and respectfully decline, or if you message me and I don't answer you back with, you know, your question, don't take it personal. It just means that I love my wife more. It just means that I have other priorities.
Yes.
It just means that I love myself more. And I think you should do the same. Like, that's my advice to people. Like, you should love and guard your time, dude. Your time is your most valuable resource. Let me tell you why.
Sure.
Because, all right, well, let's say right now, like you check your account and like somebody committed fraud and took all your money and then you didn't have the fraud check, which everyone does. But let's just say you didn't.
Right.
And you lost whatever. You lost $20,000. You're just like pissed. You're like, oh my gosh, how could they do this to me? You can make that up. It'll take you some time, but you can make that up. But your time, bro, that biological clock that God or the universe or mother or creator, whoever gave it to you, you cannot ever get that back. You know what I'm saying? Like, your time doesn't multiply. Money can multiply. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you can go and sell this, you can do things, you can multiply money, but you cannot multiply time. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like, a minute wasted, a minute spent doing the wrong thing is a minute wasted. So for me, I decided, bro, like I don't know when I decided this, but at some point in my life, I decided that life is too short to waste it like doing things that don't make you 100% happy and give you joy. You feel me? So like, don't take it personal, man. Like, and I encourage everybody who's watching this to be that way. Like, say this homie calls you and he's like, hey bro, let's go smoke weed and drink this 40. And you're like, okay, like I smoke weed and drink 40s like every day. That's the thing I do. You're not really feeling it because you've been doing it like for the past 365 days. And this other homie's like, hey bro, I got us tickets to Six Flags with my cousin who just came in from Missouri. You want to go? It's like, damn, like free weed and beer or Six Flags, which I've never done and it probably sucks. And bro, go do that thing that's gonna enrich your life. Like, get out of your neighborhood, get out of your house.
Yeah.
Like, learn.
Yeah, explore new things, guys.
Please.
That's so important. Which is why I got into jiu-jitsu. You guys have no idea, but I recently started messing around with jiu-jitsu, which I already got my arm dislocated, but that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to take risks, and my girl, my mom, they're already telling me not to like kind of keep going, but I'm stubborn, man. I'm stubborn.
You're committed.
Exactly. Like,
committed, bro.
People don't understand like the hunger that I have inside to just take on new challenges, discover myself deeper, fight through obstacles, and become a better person at the end of it all.
Right.
That's what I'm all about, bro. Like, right now, I can feel that I'm like barely getting into a new kind of phase of my life, and I'm kind of pushing through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like a baby in its birth, and how mothers struggle to push it out, and then the baby's like, oh my god, I got it out. But that's how I feel.
Damn, bro.
You know what I mean? But it's dope, man. I really appreciate being exploratory.
Right.
Just not being afraid and just kind of going head in.
So how do you think, because I try to think about a lot of things like the psychology of this, right? I'm not a psychologist, but I'm very fascinated by psychology as a field of thought, but also as a practical way, right, to your podcast, as a practical way to understand life itself and our actions and our desires and our motivations. So what do you think set the foundation for you to have this tremendous drive, right? This unwavering, this fire that you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think? Maybe like what are some core pillars that have set that foundation?
Dude, thank you so much for asking that question. It's really exciting because normally it's my podcast, so people don't get to ask me questions like that. But I'm really thankful for that because now I get to talk about myself. And something that's important for you guys to also get to know me. So I'm gonna go back a little bit to being an athlete.
Okay.
I was an athlete pretty much my entire life. So then when I got into high school and I started playing football, and for me, football was a fun challenge.
Yeah.
Every day, even though practice was annoying and my body hurt, like I knew there was a purpose.
Right.
And the purpose was I wanted to be the best football player I could be so that we can win on Friday. Right? So football and sports and being an athlete is actually one of my very like core pillars of like why I do things. Right. And so, which is connects back to me getting into jiu-jitsu now, because I still have that longing to compete. Yeah. You know, like one-on-one, and the best man wins, or women, or whoever else, because it's pretty much open to all people to compete. In fact, there's been some women who have kicked my ass on the mat.
Nice.
And it's not even humbling. It's not humbling, because for me to say that that's humbling is disrespectful to that person and the time that they've put on the mat.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would say one reason is like sports, athletics. They've taught me a lot about life, perseverance, fighting, keeping goals, right? Because I had a goal of being like an all-star. You know what I'm saying? So meeting those goals and then working hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't become a good athlete unless you work really, really hard.
Right.
And for the most part, even though I wasn't the most athletic guy on the team, I was pretty much outworking most people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So within the context of my team, I was going to be the starter, not because I was the fastest guy, but because I was there in the weight room all summer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You earned it.
Right. And another thing that kind of has motivated me recently.
Sports, hard work.
Right? Just like, I would say like 3 months ago, I was just hanging out in the same spot with my mom. And then I was like, hey, Mom, you know, like, I feel like being rich now. You know, which is kind of weird. It's a weird thing for her to hear, because like growing up, I was always like the Bob Marley type, kind of like, I don't need possessions to make me rich type.
Right.
And there's a whole truth to that as well.
Yeah.
But something just triggered me along the way where I was just like, I want to know what it feels like to have power.
Right.
And you know, we've had these discussions before as to why we want power, you know, to share with the world, to help people out and do things of this nature. So, I mean, kind of like in a nutshell, the things that kind of drive me are hard work, you know, athletics, you know, family, and wanting to have power. Yeah. And not necessarily possessions.
Right.
Or money per se, but the power that comes with money.
Yeah. Dang. Well, first of all, man, I want to applaud you for that, because I think that athletics, you know, athletics definitely, I think, are a unique way to develop discipline. You know, which I think most people in my life, you know, I've lived in El Salvador, I lived in New York, I live in LA now. I visited Mexico, I visited a lot of states. I've met a lot of people in my life from different backgrounds. And if there's one thing I can say is that those who complain the most have the least discipline. And those who complain the least tend to have the most discipline. Write that down.
Dude, that is a snippet right there, straight up.
Write that down. That's real talk, bro.
I want to tell you about one of my friends. The most disciplined human being that I have as a friend. His name is Raul Ramirez. He goes by the nickname of Luar. Right now, currently, he goes to Caltech University. He's working to become an engineer.
Wow.
He is the most fittest man I've ever seen. Chiseled to the max. Crazy smart, crazy talented, crazy strong. But you know how hard he works? He works hard like a maniac.
Right.
Wakes up like 4 or 5 in the morning, gets his workout in, goes to school, and those classes are not easy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're taking engineering courses, chemistry courses, biology courses at a top university.
Oh yeah. No. That you're earning that degree, bro, tooth and nail, bro.
To the max.
Yeah, you're 24 hours at the library, like
And I mean, I would argue that he did have like a good family foundation, all those different things. But at the same time, it's not his dad or his mom that's working for him.
Yeah.
He's putting in the work every single day, through heartbreaks, through being, you know, because he was in the military. He was in the military for a while, so you know, being sent to all these different places around the world and being laser focused. Dude, this is pure discipline.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I've never met a kid who's not a reflection of their parents in some way, shape, or form. And I think, to your friend Raul's example, I guarantee you that his father, I don't know if his parents are engineers or not.
They're not.
So check that out. His parents are not engineers, but I guarantee you it was the values and the habits that they instilled in him,
no doubt,
day in and day out,
no doubt,
when they were whatever, having dinner or just spending time as a family or whatever they did. It doesn't even matter. But whatever they did, that's what got him to that level. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't look back at our parents and be like, okay, like, what did they do for me that was good or that was great? And what are some things that maybe I could leave behind? You know, I know that's a tough conversation to have. And in fact, most people don't want to have that conversation. Because it means, you know, putting the microscope on those you love or hate, you know, because some people hate their families for whatever reason. That's important, bro. Because intergenerational legacy is real, bro. Intergenerational legacy is a real thing. Like, you inherit these characteristics, these traits of that your parents kind of raise you with. Some you kind of leave behind for cultural reasons, right? Like, especially if you're like we're the kids of immigrants, right? So like we have a lot of like general things that we follow from our parents, but also things that like we just moved away from, right? Because like, you know, because we're more assimilated, we're Americanized, you know, like we're in America, man. It's different here, but we still have some of those values. So what do you take that's positive and what do you leave that's negative? Those are some real questions, dude. That like, if you don't ask, you will be that same kid just in a different arrangement. You will be your dad in a different situation. You'll be your mom in a different situation. And I've noticed that, bro. Like I have yet to meet a single family to where like I don't see the parent and look at the kid and be like, oh, like I see the connection. Like, oh my gosh. Like, why didn't I see this?
Right.
And sometimes it's great, right? And sometimes
it's terrible.
It's terrible. You're just like, oh my gosh, like you were supposed to F up. Like you're supposed to be this person that you are now because that was your upbringing. So we just identified a problem. Now let's identify some solutions, right? So like, what if you do come from that crazy, you know, intense family, you know, that maybe didn't instill the best values in you? Is there hope for you? Yes.
I say there is, man. There's always hope for everybody.
100%. Because everything that you've been through makes you stronger also, man. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, you don't have to repeat the mistakes of your parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've lived through a lot of that. My parents, amazing people, have taught me incredibly strong values, have also made a lot of mistakes. And we found a way to like mitigate those to make something better, to live a better life. Like, you can disrupt the cycle, bro, of ignorance. If you want to, though.
Yeah, but it's gonna take you to want to explore that.
Yeah.
With them, figure out the weaknesses, figure out the strengths.
Right.
And then once you do figure out those differences, keep the strengths, let go of the weaknesses.
Right.
But we want to talk about a solution, right? Yeah. And like just a couple solutions that I can think of right off the bat. They will not work for everybody, so don't take this as I'm saying like it's gonna work for everybody and everybody's mama. But what I'm saying is, look, there are millions, I don't know about millions, but hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there that if you have a cell phone, okay, if you have any sort of Wi-Fi, you can listen to these podcasts.
Man, everybody they got Wi-Fi in Mexico, homie.
Everywhere.
Don't tell me you can't get Wi-Fi.
In the favelas of Brazil. So, one guy that I can recommend you right off the bat is Jordan Harbinger. This individual, he interviews brilliant people and breaks down their information to the point where anybody can understand it. Right? So if you want to learn how to be a better person, you're super shitty, you hate your life, you hate your family, everyone around you sucks.
Your life sucks.
Listen to this guy.
And you don't have to end it, bro.
No. And I promise you that it'll begin to rewire your mind in a stronger, more positive way where you're gonna say, you know what? I don't have to be this way anymore. Right? You're gonna take one step forward. You're gonna be a little afraid, right? Kind of like Bambi, you know, when it first came out, it was like walking like this. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you're gonna feel. You're gonna take another step and then another step in that new person, in that new, more positive person, and then you're gonna start to feel yourself, right? But you gotta stay humble through that, man, because then there's some people who like start learning, you know, they start thinking that they're better than everybody else.
Oh, that's whack. Don't be that person.
You know?
Don't be that person, man. And like, just because you know something, like you're not. No one's above anyone. Stay humble. Like I think humility is one of the greatest gifts that powerful people have. It's hard to find powerful people who are humble, but it's also hard to find powerful people who got there because of their humility. So how do you mitigate the two? Because you also need to be confident, right? And I think people mistake humility with incompetence, and I think you can still be humble and confident.
Completely.
You know what I'm saying?
Completely.
I think like you can be humble and confident, because knowledge does empower you. You make more confident decisions. In fact, I had peers growing up tell me that oh, you think you're better than us. Like, why? Oh, nah, because like how you're speaking and you always go first, and it's like, have you considered that maybe I was just excited about the topic? Like, have you thought about that at all? Like, or did you consider that maybe I actually read the article and understood it, or looked up the words that I didn't understand, which requires intellectual labor late into the night? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I also do want to encourage us to like, let's lift up our leaders, bro. Like if you have a strong leader in your house, whether that's your big brother, big sister, little sister, if they're like a strong leader, and by leader I mean like, you know, they get it done, le levantan el ánimo a la situación, build them up. Don't be a hater, right? Because we have a lot of like, oh, he thinks he's cool.
A lot of hate.
Yeah, bro, like what happened to Nipsey? Like,
don't hate, man. Appreciate.
Yeah, like show love, dude. Like if you see somebody doing great, like you're doing your podcast, that's awesome, bro. Like keep doing it. Like say tomorrow he gets a shout out from Joe Rogan, and then now homie has 100,000 subs. Like I'm not gonna ghost him because I'm mad because I can't be around him now that he has a status. That's whack. Like be real, bro, because that's the one thing that will never leave you, bro. If you're real and consistent with everybody all the time, don't be fake. Don't show up when homie gets 100,000 subs. Show him love right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of airtime to shout my wife and myself out, bro. We were hyping Nipsey up for years, homie. Like that's been my favorite guy for years. Like in fact, I had people who I'm not even close to. Like I'm not even like, you know, like I know you, or like I know Lee and stuff like that. I had people who I'm not even close to hit me up, bro, when he died. Really? And it was so strange.
What did he hit you up for?
They just shot me a text like yo, I heard about Nipsey, I'm sorry. And I was like, I don't even know you like that.
Right.
But that's beautiful that you realize how much I loved and respected his whole movement. You know, his whole marathon movement and his Vector 90 stuff. Right. Because if you look beyond like the gang banging and the street, the gangster rap music, the dude was an incredible person, bro. A beautiful person. Yeah, I say that as a man, you know. Yeah, a beautiful person Nipsey Hussle was, because of how wise he was, because of his vision. He was trying to push beyond the culture, but without turning his back on the culture. And it's like he almost did it, bro.
That's a crazy balance and a crazy life to live. You know? And I mean, he ended up basically dying by his own sword. You know what I mean? Live by the sword, you die by the sword. Yeah, and it is what it is, you know? It's happened now, and obviously it's easy for me to say because like I'm not his kid, I'm not his wife. Yeah. It doesn't mean that I don't love or appreciate the legacy. I do, but I'm just basically saying what I see, and it's unfortunate. But at the same time, he left that blueprint for others from the neighborhood. You know, there's got to be thousands of geniuses right now in South Central. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just just growing up.
Yeah.
5th graders, 10th graders,
Yeah.
20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, just at every age group, but they've never been given something. You know what I'm saying? Like a model, perhaps.
Right.
And sometimes that's what we need growing up, is a model to show us that we ourselves can do something of that magnitude.
Yeah.
For me, one of those models was Marin. Not to say that I want to be a principal, but the fact that he told me that I could be a principal one day, in my head I was like, wow, maybe I could have power then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if this person sees that in me, then maybe I can do that, or even much more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Marin, that's a unique person, man.
Shout out Dr. Mary.
Hey, shout out Dr. Hey, he needs to be on this one day, Dr. Marin.
When he's not so busy,
right,
up there in the north. Yeah. I'm sure he would love to be on it.
You know what he taught me, bro? That no other human being has able to capture so perfectly, like he did, was unconditional love, bro. Like this idea of like, I'm gonna unconditionally love and respect you, no matter what choices and decisions you make. And he always preached that, man. Like he always preached that. Everything he went through, you know, with his transition out of the school, even through that, like never badmouthed anyone, bro. Ever. Even in like private, intimate quarters. You know, like one-on-one. Like no one will ever hear this, bro. Not even a ghost. Never disrespected anyone, never spoke bad on anyone. And I think those behind the behind closed doors conversations, I think reveal more about a person's character than this stuff.
Definitely,
you know,
right? Because this is like
obviously
camera.
We're being as authentic as we can. I'm not saying we're fronting, but like
there's a degree of like performativity, right? Where like we're trying to kind of like seem a certain way.
We gotta be more energetic for the camera, you know?
And that's a fact.
Which is fine.
There's some sort of entertainment involved, but then when that's what they say, man. Your biggest character is displayed when nobody's watching you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's some real stuff right there. You know,
yeah.
When you're driving down the street, do you litter because nobody's watching you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or do you pick up trash when nobody's watching you? Do you do things for people? Do you donate money without putting it on social media? Whatever it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things I think that really, really, describe a person's character.
Yeah, man. Yeah, social media is another monster, dude. Definitely. Like, social media is a monster that I literally see, like, people, like, you know who I love? I love Will Smith. Do you follow Will Smith?
I don't follow Will Smith, but I he's popular enough to the point where, like, I kind of know what he's about.
Yeah.
Or have an idea.
Yeah. He's literally, man, he's all about Zen. He's a very peaceful person. He's basically like, he had this one post recently where he was like, if you even bring like a slightly bad vibe into my orbit, I'm out. And he talks about how that applies for family and friends or acquaintances or anyone. And I think like on one level that might sound like, oh man, this person is very like, because it's easy to call someone like that, like, oh, he's a narcissist, or she's a narcissist, or she's so self-centered, or who does she think she is? A king and a queen, bro.
Right.
If you think you're a king and a queen, or if you just think you're special, you're gonna treat every interaction like it's special. So if I have nothing special to give you, and you have nothing special to give me, then why are we doing this? And I love that he carries himself that way. And that's why he's raised two beautiful kids. No matter how you feel about Jaden, that's a very creative kid.
Dude, Jaden is a very special kid.
Fool's dope.
He's been special since
day one.
We can remember.
And the fact that he right? He doesn't control him, but the fact that he embraces Jaden, bro, for who he is, for how he's different, how he's a quirky, dorky, weird, esoteric black boy exploring all types of facets of life. As a black kid in America, that's a beautiful thing, dude.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
That's a beautiful thing, bro. Yeah. Like I remember, speaking of Jaden, Tyler. Do you remember Tyler the Creator?
Of course I know Tyler.
Bro, when he came out, I don't agree with all his lyrics. Don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, I know. I've heard and read and understand and recognize and acknowledge the misogynist critiques and all this other stuff, the homophobic stuff. Like, don't endorse that. I also don't believe he means it. I think a lot of it he's trolling it.
Totally.
You know,
like language is tricky like that. I feel like
Yeah.
Language to a degree we've given it more power than it deserves to have.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I understand the whole idea of like words as violence,
Right.
but again, like mitigating within that context, whether it's abusive language or not,
Right.
it's all depending on the person who's listening to the words.
Yeah.
And you know, when I had Tony on the show, he was talking about the word FAG, and he was basically saying like, I use it loosely.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's gay, so we know that he can use it. But he basically said it doesn't always mean FAGGOT. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was kind of like,
and see, that's a very interesting conversation because now we're talking about semantics, right?
Mhm.
And who gets to decide, bro? And that's why I think that was a big reason why I was really turned off by highly intellectual academic circles. And the reason why, and this is not a shot at anyone who I ever met in those spaces, because I think they're beautiful, creative spaces, but by which I mean like people who create knowledge, right? The creators of knowledge.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about like an influencer, bro, like I'm talking about people who write books.
Mhm.
They're writing books, they're writing theories, they're coining terms.
Mhm.
Those people, which are people oftentimes, they tend to believe as if they have the moral high ground. And that is very dangerous, bro. Let me explain what I mean by that, if I may.
Sure.
Having the moral high ground means that I have this experience over you, Chewy. I have this book, this knowledge that I read over you, and therefore I can speak to you about that. You can't say anything back. This is not an exchange. I'm telling you what this is. That's a problem, bro. That's a problem.
Why is it problematic?
That's problematic because having the moral high ground entails that you have means that you have this universal understanding of life itself, even as it relates to the other person you're talking to, you as a person. And I don't know what, let's talk about masculinity, right? Like, we can agree on a lot of things about masculinity, but we can't agree on every single facet that masculinity looks like, because it might look different for a different person.
Absolutely.
So once I start claiming that I have the moral high ground and I'm prescribing to you ways to live and ways to act, that's a problem, dude. No one has the moral high ground. You know, just like anything, you know, this is like a real talk, like intellectual conversation. Like, you might be a nerd, bro.
Yeah.
But you never allowed yourself to sit your butt down in a room and read a book or geek out on like that, whatever that is.
You might like cheeseburgers, but you never tried a cheeseburger. So how you gonna tell me that
you might love Japan, bro,
you know?
more than your community.
Right.
You might fall in love with it. You might fall in love with a Japanese woman or man.
Right.
But you will never know. You know, you will never know.
Definitely.
That scares me, bro.
Right.
That scares me. The unknown.
Right. So, in order to not be afraid of the unknown, we must continue to allow our open-mindedness to set the tone.
Yeah.
And allow us to go into any scenario with the open-mindedness of saying like, hey, I might just enjoy the opportunity for whatever situation, right? You try it, whatever situation it is, and then you say, you know what? I can comfortably say, I'm not into cheeseburgers. I'm not into Japan.
Right?
You know what I mean?
But we live in a world where we just hide, bro, behind this moral high ground. It's a little mountain, right? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of controversial topics that you can get into with this. So I'm not gonna get into them, but like, that is a tragedy to me, bro. Where like, I have the moral high ground because this book that I read from this author who doesn't fully understand this topic. They just studied it for 5 to 10 years while they were in a PhD program or doing some field work in this like very small village or whatever. Now they understand everything about it. It's like, that is a tragedy to me, bro.
Right.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I decided not to become an intellectual, because I didn't want to pigeonhole myself to like this certain perspective. Because once you commit yourself, bro, to like a specific field at that level, you've essentially signed away your right to any alternative political idea,
Right.
or philosophy even. Because you know me, I'm not super into politics.
Right.
I'll discuss it, and I have my beliefs and my ideas and my values,
Right.
which I keep very private.
Right.
You know, but once I have to sign away to a political ideology just because like my entire department or my entire field feels like that's what I need to do, even though I personally might disagree with it, that's whack to me, bro.
Right.
I'd rather speak my truth.
I get you.
Which, you know what I'm saying? Which is why YouTube is dope, because YouTube, I mean, there's a lot of ignorant stuff on there too, which I hope they fix it and they get rid of all the hate groups and all that crap that nobody needs on any side of the aisle. But like, my thing is more like YouTube, bro, gives you that, like Joe Rogan, bro, he speaks freely about God damn near everything, bro.
DMT, mushrooms, pretty much anything outlandish that you can imagine. He talks about it from a nuanced perspective.
Nuance, what does that mean, bro?
It means to have a balanced understanding that you can go to the left, you can go to the right, you could go in the middle, you could go outside the box. It just means that you have a lot of perspective in a conversation.
And that's what we're not doing, dog. And not just in the political sense, because I know this is, Democrats will talk to Republicans.
Right, which is
and they're not willing to talk. Okay, we know that. You know, we've seen that. That's been like a minute. But even for any topic, bro, like, soon as we touch on something that, like, I think triggers the other person, it's a wrap.
Right.
Why? Like, what's happening there,
well,
man?
you know, I think that, you know, the landscape, like, when it comes down to conversations, has become very, how would I say this? People have learned to shut down conversations because it's not what they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? So if I come with an even remotely different idea, now you're just like, you're ignorant, you're dumb, you're not woke, you're not part of our gang, you can't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a big mistake. It's a huge mistake, because you're creating an echo chamber. And imagine yourself getting stuck in this house, right? And only the people in this house you're gonna have to get a conversation with, right? You're only gonna have your scope of understanding the human experience is gonna be what everyone in this house believes and thinks. Right? It's kind of like Plato's allegorical cave. You're in the cave your entire existence. That's all you freaking know. You get out of the cave, you find out what's going on, you go back to the cave and you tell the people in the cave what you've seen, and they're like, what the hell is this idiot? You know what I mean? So, guys, it's very important to not get stuck in a circle, in just one circle, because that's all you're gonna think, that's all you're gonna know. It's even more important to meet new people, even if they have different ideas, even if those ideas are irritating to you, and have a conversation, and you're gonna realize that you're actually not that different than they, because at the end of the day, you're both human beings, and biologically, psychologically, sometimes you're driven by the same things.
Absolutely, man. And I think too many people are afraid to, like, oh, but what if they don't like me anymore? What if they stop, like, you know, what if they stop talking to me? It's like, then they just did you a favor, bro, because then they showed that they didn't really like you for who you are, for your ability to evolve. That's what I always tell people, like if I'm not coming around, maybe I'm busy or maybe I'm evolving. And if you can't deal with my evolution, then you can't deal with me. And then you know, we'll just be distant acquaintances. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like, cause I see that a lot, man. Like, some people feel pressured into like certain acquaintances, certain friendships, certain even family, right? Sometimes family kind of pressures you. But I firmly believe, dude, you gotta guard and protect your energy. I don't know, man. Like, my wife thinks I'm crazy for that. But I firmly believe, dude, I will guard and protect my energy. Like, to no avail, dude. Like no bad vibes, weird vibes, like I'm right here. This is all I have. This right here, that's all I have, bro. Like at the end of as a man, right? Like
Yeah.
when you die, that's literally
What-
all you have.
You know
bro.
what they say? Like, what are you gonna take with your? What are you gonna take with yourself after you die? Nothing. You know what I'm
Nothing.
saying? So as rich and powerful as you are,
My
all you got
richness is my
your soul.
freedom, dog.
There you go.
That's my richness.
That's what I like.
It's not my net worth, it's not my subscriber count, it's not my bank account. My richness is my freedom. My ability to say that I'm free. That no single man or woman on this planet defines me.
And you know what? That's
You know?
that's what I'm chasing, bro. That's what I'm chasing with this whole podcasting situation. That's what I'm chasing with this whole Vector 100. And that's what I'm chasing with all these like different business ideas because as much as I like being a teacher and as much as I appreciate Miss Fowler and as much as I appreciate
Hey, shout out Miss Fowler.
super dope. She and I actually had like a really long conversation yesterday. Like I just ended up at ACBA,
Oh, hell yeah.
and then I just knocked. And even though there was a sign that said nobody's here, she came out and then just kind of like chopped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But the idea is like chasing freedom, man.
Yeah.
I want to wake up at whatever time, that whether it be 10 a.m. or whether it be 5 a.m. I want to wake up at whatever time, talk to whoever I want, whenever I want.
Right.
I want to be able to go to New York City right now if I feel like it. I want to be able to go to Hawaii right now if I want to. I want to be able to go all these different places, meet people, talk to people. I don't want to be fringed upon by this clock that is having an employer.
I see what you're saying. So you're chasing, seems like obviously there are a lot of things you want to experience that can only be accessed through capital. Right? Like, because if I'm gonna fly to New York, that's gonna be a cool 600-700 and then set up meetings and so you're chasing this freedom that you need capital to access, but you have, I would argue, the competitive advantage in that you love the grind, you love the hustle. And I think that's what we don't, that's the unseen narrative, bro, of really rich and wealthy people. Besides like the generational wealth and stuff like that, like, yeah, okay, we get it, like they were rich, blah, 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 okay, cool. But I'm talking about like people who get out there and get it, they just get out there and get it, like the person that starts with like a little hot dog stand and then they work their way up to like a restaurant and then they got 2 restaurants and they have a panaderia. I actually know of a person like that. I don't know this person, but I know of them, right? That grind, bro, that's all you need, I would argue. Obviously, a lot of things have to happen. I think it takes a lot of luck, a lot of right connects. But that grind, man, just the fact that you grind, like you're gonna make it happen. It's simply a matter of like staying the course, bro. Stay the course, and that is your freedom. Like I was just listening to Jordan Harbinger today, actually, and and you put me up on that. So thank you, because there's a lot of gems in there, man. And they were saying like, you can chase like, I forget how they framed it, but it was like love the hustle, not the outcome, but you can still they said something about the hustle, like the effort you put towards your hustle doesn't have to make you hate the outcome. You know what I'm saying? And I think Gary Vee talks a lot about that too, right? Like just love the process more than you love the outcome, and then the outcome will essentially it'll be irrelevant.
Yeah, because you're enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're doing today.
Yeah. I dude, this is enriching my life, bro, because we're learning. And the fact that like this isn't gonna go online, and I'd be like, yo, like that was a sick conversation, like let's go back and figure it out. Not on some like weirdo, like let me watch myself speak, but like, bro, like you don't come around people like Marin, I'm sure your coaches, Raul and all these fools, each other, and all of the friends, the amazing friends that we have. I don't think like that's by coincidence, bro. I think those are intentional vibes that we're putting out there. You know what I'm saying? Like Marin's not gonna go up to like a teacher, bro, like who's like, yeah, I kind of care about students, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not.
Right.
Like just like we wouldn't. Like you're not gonna bring somebody who's gonna like show up like, what's up, dog? Yeah, food. Like I've been smoking. Like, yeah, bro. Like. Maybe you have a homie like that and that's cool, but not right here, because right here we're trying to give you guys game. That's what see. That's what gives me freedom, bro, and my richness, and that's why people ask me stuff. And please keep asking me questions. Just don't ask me for my time. That's all don't ask me for my time or my money. Until my mom has 5 homes and my sister's graduated with her PhD, and Game has this dope line. He's like, I got a family to feed. I'm the middle of 9 children. We could talk about a loan after I sell 5 million or something like that. We could talk about a loan after I'm at 5 billies.
Right. Let's wrap it up. Where can people find out more about you?
Hey man, y'all can find me at Scholar Gamer Nerd on Instagram, on YouTube at Scholar Gamer Nerd, and just hit me up in the comments. I'm I'm a very generous person. I think I just please don't be upset if I don't get back to you immediately. I love conversations like these. You want to engage me or engage us? Ask us questions like what we talked about today, and we'd be more than happy to talk to you. All about good vibes, man. Just good vibes, health and wealth, man. That's what I'm about now.
Beautiful, guys. There you have it. I'm your host as always, Jesus Flores.
Subscribe,
also known as J Flow.
Post noties,
share, comment, subscribe. Let's keep it moving, guys. I love what I'm doing. I love the people that I have on the show. And let's keep this moving, guys. I love everybody. I'll see you guys next time.
Later. Damn, bro, that was a good conversation.